Next up, we have this emissive material in here, this little light bulb, right? And this light bulb has actually been separated by me into its own material for simplicity's sake. It is, as such, it is not using very efficient UVs. I would definitely want to change this around, but for now, you know, good enough. Now, the emission strength here is actually going to set that brightness. And you can see as the higher I go, the brighter it is. So with an emission strength of 20, this is actually going to contribute quite greatly to the light map, but not so much that I don't need an additional point light in there to actually sell the illusion that this is a real lantern. So I'm going to create a new point light, and I'm just going to put it right about inside of that light bulb. And then I'll set the radius small enough that it's big enough to be outside of the light itself, but that it's small enough to cast shadows from inside of this glass dome. And so if I turn this back on, if I turn cycles back on, you can see that it's adding more light. And if I turn this up a lot, it's adding a whole lot more light. And I can always set the color to purple to see exactly how much is which light, the emissive material and the point light. But that's working for me. And I'm going to tint this just a little bit of a warm color here, because a lot of these style of lantern have a warmer color. Now, another thing that you can do to juice up this render so that it's not pure black in these areas is add something to the world node here under the world material. You can add an environment texture and get an HDRI in there, even at very low volume and low intensity rather. It will help fill in some of these really, really dark areas. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit add and then search for an environment texture. There it is. And then I'm just going to hit this button here, open. And I found this lovely Japanese forest here that I'm just going to plug into I think I can just plug it straight into the background node and just set this to 1.0. I think that works. And then if I hit play on this, then we should, and I often just use a little snip as a way to A/B test this. So I'll take a little snip of this, see what that looks like. And then I'll hit play again on my cycles render. And you can see, yes, that is, there is way more color in here now. Now I'm just going to lower the strength of it here because I want the light inside of the lantern to show up a little bit more, but it does help fill in these dark shadows, and you can kind of see, you can compare. You can see that this is actually filling in some of these really dark shadows with just a little bit of color, and that helps to make it feel like a more realistic image. Now it's subtle, but these tiny little subtle details add up and make things feel more and more realistic. So that's kind of the setup for the emissions shader. Thank you for watching. In the next video, we're going to talk about unwrapping for your light bakes and actually baking the light maps. Thanks so much. And this video is sponsored by utopiavr.com. Check them out.